Okay, now we're going to look at, we just finished parent functions, so we'll look at transformations and reflections. And essentially what this does is it takes our parent functions and it will move them around the graph so that we can easily graph functions that we know the parent function of without much work. So when we're looking at a transformation, what we're really looking at is we'll start with a function f of x, and this can be any function. If we add a constant, and that constant is greater than 0, this will move if the c is greater than 0. It will move the function up. Whereas if we take f of x minus c, if c is greater than 0, we'll move the function down. You're going, wow, that's easy enough. Most of the problems with transformations isn't the moving up and down, it's moving side to side, because it's actually opposite of the way we would think it works. So I'm going to write this real small over here. If I have a function, and that function, the x is x plus 2, that means it's going to move left, or negative, by 2. If I have a function x minus 2, it will move right by 2. Okay, and so these four just will move it along the actual coordinates. The reflection actually will allow the function to flip or reflect completely over the x-axis or the y-axis. If we have a negative function, f of x, that will reflect over the x-axis. And if we have an f of negative x, that will reflect over y-axis. Okay, so let me give you some examples. Most of my examples are either with a quadratic function or a square root function because it's very easy to see their movements. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to move something up. So if I have f of x, which is our function of x, equals x squared. This is my parent function, and it will look like this. Okay? So if I rewrite this and I say f of x, so my parent function, plus 2, that would be saying our f of x is x squared. It means x squared plus 2. So I'll move up 2, I'll move the origin up 2, and I can still graph this function relatively easily. Okay? The same thing when I'm moving down. I'll use the square root on this one. If I have f of x equals the square root of x, my function will look like this. Okay? So now if I want to move it down, I just say f of x minus however much I want to move it down. In this case, I'm going to move it down 2, which would just mean my f of x I can replace with that. So it means the square root of x minus 2. So I go down 2, 1, 2 on the graph, and I will head up like that. So it's just moving it up and down. To go side to side, when we write the function, again, I think I'll take the quadratic. I'll do f of x equals x squared. Again, it's just this. Okay. Now I want to move the quadratic to the right too. So what I want is f of x minus 2, because it's intuitively backwards. If I say f of x minus 2, how I would write this, I know f of x is x squared. So now I'm going to replace the x with the x minus 2. So it's just x minus 2